Today, we get to check off a new national park for us. We are at Big Bend National Park. So we're excited to explore this park. We did kind of build out an itinerary. Well, you did.
Tried to.
Tried to. However, upon entering the park today, there were road closures that we weren't aware of. So we missed the hike that we wanted to do. But I think it all worked out because, you know, this is what you got to do on the fly with RV life. You're constantly changing the plan and going with the flow. So we headed to the visitor center and got a few recommendations from the ranger, with one of them being this trail.
Yep, the trail we're going on right now is Boquillas Canyon Trail. And it's like a 1.5 mile round trip total hike, and it takes you to the edge of the canyon apparently and down to the river's edge. So I'm excited about that.
Yes, so this trail should lead us right up to the Rio Grande River, and Mexico is right on the other side of that. So if you weren't aware, the river is what separates the two countries. So I don't know, I find that really cool. So I'm excited to see this river.
Yeah, and we drove past, you can actually take the Boquias. There's a port of entry, so you can take a boat across to the town, and there's like a little cantina and stuff you can buy, but it's closed right now due to COVID.
Yes, and unfortunately, one of the other items we had on our itinerary was hot springs. They do have hot springs here on the river. That's closed as well. So that's okay. We're still gonna make the best of our time here and share with you the experiences. So let's see what this hike's all about.
So I was reading that these canyons were actually created a little differently than other canyons. The river didn't cut through the land to create these canyons. I mean, it did, but what really happened was that the tectonic plates pushed the mountains up, and the river just continued to cut through it as they continued to be pushed up. So it's different than somewhere, say, like the Grand Canyon, where the river just continuously cut through the same area and got lower and lower. The mountains went higher and higher, and the river stayed the same. To the end of the trail here, and I think we went further than just what was on the loop, because there was a walking path that continued on down along the river. So of course we're gonna follow that, right? So it does end at just this little rock area like this, and we got to stand here for a while and look at the beauty. And that side is Mexico, so literally a stone's throw away. And
yeah, I do recommend this hike.
It's not very strenuous. You go up just a small little hill at the beginning, and then you descend down here to the actual river. So it's a nice place to come and see the river and come to the base of the canyon. So it's really cool being able to look down the canyon. One of these days, I think we'll try to get on a boat or a canoe or kayak or something to go down the river, because I think that would probably be one of the best ways to see Big Bend.
Yes, I mean, just look at that. It's calling us. How could you not want to try and go in there?
Yeah.
But yeah, super easy hike. Highly recommend it if you're short on time and you just want to see the river and see Mexico. This was a great quick little stop for us, but we're going to continue on. All right, so we are now heading out to our next location, which is undisclosed. We are technically on a secret trail.
Yeah, secret as in it's not on the map.
Yes, so the ranger did recommend this hike to us. However, he did ask us not to mention the name. So out of respect for the park rangers at Big Bend, we are not going to mention the name of this trail. I'm sure if you wanted to look it up yourself, you could find it. Obviously, other people have found it as well here, but we won't be the ones to tell you. So there is a waterfall at the end of this trail, and I think the reason it's a secret and not a secret is because it used to be a popular hike here, and they took it off the map because it was just getting overused. And yeah, so it's not officially closed but it is kind of closed.
Yeah.
They
it's
just don't
open,
talk about
it's
it.
just not disclosed.
Yes.
It's nowhere on the map to find it.
Exactly. So, if you have FOMO and are just like, I have to go there, I'm sure you could figure it out. But if you're like, oh, well, if it's off the map, it's off the map, then don't come here either. But we're excited about it. It feels like a little treat that we discovered today, especially with our original itinerary kind of getting tossed to the wayside and not really having any idea how to spend our day here. The ranger came in and saved the day for us, for sure.
So I'm excited. Let's go find the secret waterfall.
Found the waterfall.
And it's an actual waterfall.
It's an actual waterfall. I was half expecting it to be completely dry, but it's very cold water and it's very clear water. You can see to the bottom there is like no sediment in it. It's beautiful though, and I'm really glad that we got let in on this secret.
Yeah, we were talking recently about how we like our hikes to have a payoff at the end, and I would say that this is a very good payoff.
So even if you do find this waterfall for yourself, since we're not giving you any real hints here, just keep it on the down low, be respectful of what the park ranger wanted, and yeah, there you go. This is what the end looks like. So if you do make it down here, do not go in it, please. That was made very clear. All right, so we're gonna start our hike back and hopefully stay cool because it's been getting a little toasty now that we've reached the afternoon here. All right, it's day 2 for us here in Big Bend National Park, and today we decided to do the Ross Maxwell Scenic Drive. It looks like there's a ton of pullouts, little hiking trails if you want to do as well, and then our final destination is we want to make it down to the Rio and see that view from this side of the park, because yesterday we were on the other side of the park, if that makes sense. I'll show you the map so it makes sense. I also learned why this national park is called Big Bend. I had assumed it was because, oh, well, maybe within where the Rio goes, there is a big bend. And when you look at the map here, you do kind of see, you know, a bunch of different bends. However, I realized after reading our national park book here, it's called Big Bend because the Rio comes in from this way, and instead of just continuing on and going this way, it makes a big bend south and then continues on. So it's not just one bend in the park, it is the entire park is technically the Big Bend. So I thought that was cool. And we are currently stopped here at Homer Wilson Ranch, and I'm going to tell you why we stopped. I do highly recommend this book. We have 2 national park books, and they've just been really great to see different areas of the park that maybe weren't as popular from what the ranger would tell you or what is on the map here. So we pulled off at Homer Wilson Ranch because of this description. It says, a short walk leads to buildings of what was once a large sheep ranch. A hike of a mile or so up the Blue Creek Trail reveals an array of red rock pillars, spires, and hoodoos. The scenery is well worth the modest effort. So we checked with the group if that sounded appealing to them as well. They all agreed. So we are going to try and hunt down some hoodoos in Big Bend, which I think is really cool. So let's go. How'd we do?
So we went 2.2 miles.
Okay.
And only an ascent of 322 feet.
That's it?
And yet this one feels a lot harder than yesterday's.
I think it's because it's definitely hotter today than it was yesterday. Yeah. I mean, we did a total of 7 miles between the 2 hikes yesterday. Yeah. And this already like took the wind out of us. But it was a good hike, and seeing the hoodoos at the end of the trail was really cool. You did see people coming down the trail to get to the ranch house, but walking up to the hoodoos, we saw one other person. So even though it's only a mile there, obviously a mile back, yeah, definitely worth it because you're kind of out there by yourself, and then you see this really unique landscape. I just wasn't expecting to see hoodoos in Big Bend. Yeah. Obviously that reminds us of Bryce Canyon National Park. Yeah. And then coming into the entrance, there's some areas that look like Badlands, which then reminded us of Badland National Park. So it's funny to have a national park that reminds you of other national parks, yet has so many of its unique landscapes as well. And we might be reminded of the Grand Canyon when we get a little further down and see the large canyon. We did get a view when you go up to see the hoodoos on your way back, because you have climbed about 300 feet or whatever. You do see a view of
the canyon, Santa Elena Canyon.
Yeah.
And it looks crazy cool from far away, so.
It does. I can't wait to see that up close. So we learned a little bit about the ranch house as well, obviously from this plaque here. So it was really cool to read the plaque and then go down and see it, because what they did here was this ranch house that's down here, they made it out of the native materials. So the roof is made out of the reed down here, and then timbers are, off of the mountain, it says, and then large stones for the floor from the creek. So it was really cool to see all that put together, and it's still standing really well, which was surprising because they actually haven't used this ranch house since 1945, when they moved the ranch further up the mountain to get a higher elevation, so that way about 5,000 goats and sheep weren't dying in the, not literally dying, but they just said they wanted to get them out of the summer heat. So they weren't dying from the summer heat every year. They moved them to higher elevation. Maybe they were literally dying, but the plaque doesn't say that. Anyway, all right, back into the truck for more adventures and to get some water and catch our breath. All right, so we've reached it to the end of our drive today before we turn back, but our main goal today was the Santa Elena Canyon Trail, and as you can already tell, it's looking pretty cool. So already getting kind of like Zion vibes,
Yeah,
which
definitely.
is another national park that this national park reminds us of. So if you can't make it to all these national parks, maybe just come to Big Bend and feel like you're at 5 different ones. But we're heading in. This should be a pretty short, easy trail according to the signage here. And the drive down alone was beautiful. Just seeing this rock formation just start to tower in the distance was really, really cool. I don't know how to explain this without sounding like a hippie, but I really like it when the landscape feels like it has a personality or like a presence.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, this canyon feels like it has quite a presence. I mean, how could it not?
Yeah.
So with that said, let's head on in. So we've made it to the end of the trail here, and it is very cool.
Yeah, I wore my Chaco, so I was able to walk out into the river, and that was very exciting because I've been wanting to go in the river since we got here.
Yes, so technically you went to Mexico today.
I did.
So highly recommend this trail. Actually, probably #1 recommendation for the park. If you are passing through, which I don't know why you would be passing through, because like Big Bend is a destination in itself. It's not on the way to anything else. But if you've given yourself a short amount of time, I recommend the drive that we're doing today, and then making it down here and doing this canyon trail. It is a very easy trail, just an out and back sand material with some rocks and small little section of switchbacks, but not
Easy.
too bad.
Yeah, and I would say this, if you're going to do anything here, you have one day, I think this is what you should do.
Yeah, #1. Definitely. So we had missed a couple pullouts on the drive down that we are going to go hit up on the way back because this was our destination that we wanted to get to. And now that we've checked it off the list, we can go check off those other items. However, if you're feeling adventurous and you have a high clearance vehicle, this could be a loop drive for you. You don't have to come back the same way you came. You could actually take a 13-mile dirt road back to the entrance by Terlingua. So we'll show you more on the map, so that makes more sense later, but we're gonna head back. On our drive back, we learned that in May of 2019, a fire in Mexico jumped the Rio Grande and spread rapidly. Wind gusts showered embers across the Castellan Historic District, igniting the buildings and barracks. 2 historic buildings suffered extensive damage, and over 950 acres on both sides of the river burned before the fire was fully contained 13 days later. Thankfully, firefighters saved many other historic buildings and artifacts, and there were no injuries associated with this fire. After stopping at the Castellan Visitor Center, we stopped at 2 additional viewing areas, Mule Ears Viewpoint and Sodal Vista. Also, we didn't film much at our RV park as we were spending the majority of our time inside Big Bend National Park. But we did stay at Big Bend Adventure and Resort in Terlingua, which was only 3 miles from the park's west entrance. We were thankful that the park could fit our group in last minute and do recommend it if you're looking for a place to stay in this area. Other than that, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to join our getaway gang. We'll see you next time. Bye guys. Today we get to check off a new... Oh, you look mad.
It's just the beard.
Do you have a problem?
No, I have no problem.
So, as Jason said, you can... Oh man, I have my things up. So we've made it to the end of the trail here, and it is very cool.
Is the baby's name Nora? That's also my name. Oh my god!
That's funny.